RoamTownGirl here, coming to you now from the Mount Rushmore Rapid City part of South Dakota. We've got all kinds of things to do over these next 2, 3, 4 days. I've rented a car, so I'm mobile. But for today, I thought, let's just get the lay of the land. We're gonna check out the cute little town of Keystone. We'll go to the President's Wax Museum. And then there's also the Lincoln Borglum, I always say that name wrong, Museum, which I'm not a big museum person, but I understand this is not to be missed. The only challenge is I am here before everything goes crazy Memorial Day weekend, and I did that on purpose because I wanted to get in and out before all the people show up. So some things aren't open, but fingers crossed, maybe they'll make an exception for us. So I'm kind of anticipating some of you might have noticed the two ghosts sitting in the back seat and wondered, what is that? This is how I prepare a rent-a-car for my dogs, which I don't know if you're allowed to have dogs or not, but no one says anything because I always return the car in pristine condition. So basically, I just put a fitted sheet down. This is to help. I don't usually do that, but poor Wesley, he was like on an angle like that, so I was helping him be more level. But basically, I just put a fitted sheet down, and then I have my 2 crates. This is a wonderful, I'm gonna try to show you. This look, woo! That's easy storage. When I clip it, I can't do it one-handed. And then this one is the one I use for traveling, because my dogs always travel in their crates in the RV, just in case I stop short or something like that. That way nobody goes flying, they're contained. But anyway, this is what I do. I put the fitted sheet and then the 2 dog crates, and no one ever charges me extra money for cleaning. You can even see with this, I still get a little bit of hair, so I will clean that up before I return it. I find packing tape seems to be the easiest way to get hair up off the carpet. They'll never know. They'll never know. Beautiful. And now you know. Now, I stayed at Americas Mailbox, even though I didn't change my residency to South Dakota. And if you want to know more information on that, I highly recommend watching the video. I'll put a link up in the corner for you about changing domiciles. Anyway, what did work about staying at Americas Mailbox in their RV park there was 2 things. One, since I don't have a tow, it was very close to the Enterprise rent-a-car, so they picked me up and dropped me off, so that's always a major bonus. And the other thing I discovered was totally unexpected was that they are very close, I mean like walking distance close, to the visitor center, which was much needed when I hit this area. I was overwhelmed. I had my list of everything I wanted to go do and see and show you, and then I had absolutely no idea how to organize it so that I wasn't backtracking and I wasn't doing too much in one day. And it was fabulous because I basically went in there with my list. I dropped it on the lady's desk and I said, could you please help me figure out how to do this? And she did. And you'll see as we do our different days here in the Rapid City Mount Rushmore area, she did a fabulous job of clustering the perfect amount of things to do in each day. But real quick, before we get to that, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I truly hope that you have such a good time with me today that you'll want to come back over and over and over again. And to my longtime watchers, you know how much I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what happened when I got to Keystone, but I have to confess, I did an absolutely terrible job of covering the actual town. I didn't even take still photos. But I will tell you, it's a total tourist trap, but it is the cutest tourist trap ever, and you just gotta go. But I did get video and pictures of both the Wax Museum and the Borglum Story Museum, and then a totally unexpected thing I found there. So a few things about the Wax Museum. I gotta tell you, some of the statues were so realistic, it was almost creepy. I mean, I was standing there waiting to see if it was like candid camera or something, because I was expecting them to breathe or blink or something. And then there were some that were so bad that I don't know who did them. And then what was crazy was sometimes they were in the same display, which was really strange. But it was really interesting. They have a guided tour, and you basically just walk up to any of the different exhibits and you push the button and it tells you a little bit about that particular president, or if they were showing a historical moment, some information about that. Gotta love the guided tour thing. I am so into that. And I have a little bit of constructive criticism. There did not seem to be any particular order, like the presidents didn't come in order, which would have been great, because since they were giving you historical information about issues that were going on and action that any given president took, it would have had such wonderful context to hear about this president and go, oh my God, I see how that relates to what was going on 2 presidents ago, or whatever. I must have slept through history class. Maybe more people know all these different things about all these presidents, but for me, it was like hearing a lot of this stuff for the first time. But the thing I love there most is when you first walk in, they have this little setup for you to have an experience of what if you were the president. And I loved it. I think that was the best part of the whole thing. Now let me tell you a little bit about the Borglum Story Museum, which I want to make sure you know is different than the Lincoln Borglum Museum that is downstairs in the amphitheater area of Mount Rushmore. Remember how I showed you the hikes in the Badlands? And I was like, these are totally RoamTownGirl hikes. If you missed that one, I'll put a link up to that video up above somewhere, one of the corners. Well, this Borglum Story Museum, it is a RoamTownGirl museum. You know how much I love interactive things when I find them? I think it's because I find it really hard to walk through museums and read all the little things and look at all the things and try to figure out what they are. I don't have ADD, but it doesn't hold my interest, and I can kind of get sort of bored. What they did is everything is presented in order in like display exhibits, and they have a guided tour, and you just stand there and they speak about this and they tell you a story about that, and it's like I didn't have to read anything, I didn't have to figure anything out. All I had to do was walk to the next window, push the button, and voila, they told me so many amazing things. So I just loved this place. And if you're in Keystone and you want to get some context about Mount Rushmore and the guy that built it and, you know, the sculptor, you gotta go there. And I almost didn't even get to go there. Remember in an earlier video I shared that, you know, I was showing up in this area a bit before the season hit, and I did that on purpose because, you know, I didn't want to be around all the crowds and the people. But sometimes that meant I couldn't see things or go places because they weren't open yet. And that was the case with the Borglum Story Museum. So what happened was I was in a little coffee house in the morning in Keystone. I was getting an iced tea because I'm an iced tea-aholic. I don't know if I've shared that with you before. I do have a problem. Anyway, I was sharing that I was hoping to go to this museum. I wasn't sure if it was open, and wouldn't you know that the owner of the shop knows the lady that runs that museum. And so he called her and left her a message and asked if it would be possible to allow me to come in. Now, they were open but for tours, but not for individuals yet like me. So I go over, I knock on their employee door, So the woman totally knew who I was, and she was a doll. She said, the first bus is showing up at this time, come 20 minutes before, I'll let you in. And so I actually kind of had the whole place to myself. Well, up until the end anyway. But I gotta tell you, if you go to Keystone, and you've got to get the backstory on the sculptor of Mount Rushmore and all these really interesting things about it, I'm telling you, that is a must-stop, must-see museum. And I purposely went there before I actually went to Mount Rushmore, and I think that's a great idea because it'll make being at Mount Rushmore so much more meaningful, and you'll like have some insight. Like for instance, when they did the eyes, they really wanted the statues to feel like they came alive. And so they put these granite beams, they call them granite spikes, but in the eyeball, and you get to see it really up close. They've got a life-size replica there, and the reason they did that is so that during the day, as the sun's going across the sky, when it hits these granite spikes, it kind of creates a little twinkle. I mean, that's the kind of cool stuff that it's awesome to know that before you show up, and then when you're looking, you could see, I saw a twinkle. Or I didn't. Now there is so much more to Keystone. There's restaurants, there's like attractions for the kids, there's hotels to stay at. I even think there was an RV park or RV parking closer in town. And it's all on the way to Mount Rushmore. I don't even think it's 2 miles between Keystone and Mount Rushmore. So definitely put it on your list. You gotta stop by there. Okay. I found something in Keystone I just couldn't resist. So indulge me. Check this out. Wait for it. That's a big foot, right? But wait, there's more. Isn't he fabulous? Oh my God, just wonderful. That's totally cool. Going back to Rapid City just real quick, it was a fabulous place for all your basics, you know, the Walmarts, the gas stations, all that stuff is right there for you. And the only thing that I regret, and it was just a matter of I needed both some time and I needed good weather, and while I was there, the two did not really meet up. But what they have is in the downtown area, every corner has a statue of one of the presidents, and you can like run around and pose with them. And I love driving by and looking at them. I just wish I would have been able to take some pictures, especially after going to the wax museum, because then I knew a little bit more about things that this president did or happened to that president, so it kind of would have had a little bit more significance. But since I didn't know to expect it or plan for it, I'm telling you. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, now you know to build that into your itinerary. All right, so I hope I did a good job of giving you a better sense of what to expect when you hit the Keystone Rapid City area. And if I did, you can let me know by giving me a thumbs up. And I love when you leave comments. It's my opportunity to have a little bit of a back and forth conversation with you. So do that. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and stay tuned, because I still have so much to show you in this area. We are gonna go, of course, to Mount Rushmore and Custer State Park and see wildlife and do the crazy tunnels, and I could just go on and on. I'm telling you, South Dakota is an awesome place to visit. If you weren't already planning to do so, you really got to put it on your list. See you next time.